Computer. Now we're recording. All right. Shalom, everyone. This is Brother Doug with my sister Sadie and my sister Sally today. We are the Awakened by Yahuah Fellowship Group in Yahuwah Almighty and Yahusha Messiah. Today we are doing a study called Who is the Angel of Yahuah? Now, I pretty much put this together a while ago. If I've forgotten any verses that deal with the Angel of Yahuah, please, viewers and listeners that will be watching this on Facebook and YouTube, please let me know if I've forgotten any cross-references, but this is like the main verses I want to get through. First, obviously, because people watching what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do all the canonical stuff that people would consider canon, Christian and Jews would consider canon. You know, the 66 books. Then we're going to build upon it with the prayer of Azariah, which, by the way, was part of the book of Daniel in chapter 3. Just saying. So it was considered canon in the King James 1611, in certain other older Bibles like the Geneva and the Septuagint still to this day, you know, has it in their canon. So first, let's go to I think first I would like to go to Genesis and just kind of go in order here. So we're going to go to Genesis chapter 16, verses 7, 9, and 11. So we're going to go there first, and we're going to see who this Angel of Yahuah is. Okay, Genesis 16. And first I'll read it from the Brenton Septuagint, then I'll go to the Targums here. So it says, "And an angel of Yahuah found her by the fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain of the way to Sur." Okay, and here we go. "And an angel of Yahuah said to her, return to your mistress and submit yourself under her hands." This is the story of Hagar and Sarah. So he's telling Hagar, return to your mistress, Sarah, basically. "And the angel of Yahuah said to her, I will surely multiply your seed." Ooh, this is if this is just a regular angel, this is kind of blasphemous in my opinion. If this is just a regular heavenly messenger, he's talking about multiplying her seed. Who's supposed to be multiplying the seed of Jacob? Yahuah. So kind of interesting there, because Yahuah is the one that originally promised Abraham. When you go to the covenant with Abraham, he's like, I will multiply your seed. So I'm just saying, and it shall not be numbered for multitude. Okay, again, same verbiage that Yahuah gave to Abraham in that covenant. Okay, just saying. "And the angel of Yahuah said to her, behold, you are with child, and you shall bear a son, and you shall call his name Yishmael, for Yahuah has hearkened to your humiliation." You know, to her reproach, you could say. Okay, now you could still kind of doubt it a little bit. You could probably be saying to yourself, you know, well, you're putting your own spin on that. You know, you could be saying to me, you know, in response, in a rebuttal, someone could say, I'm trying to spin it. But if we go to the Targums, which the Targums are basically an older version of the Torah that are not in our Bibles today. They were Aramaic translations from the Paleo-Hebrew into Aramaic, kind of similar to how the Septuagint came from the older Hebrew of the Paleo into Koine Greek, and the Samaritan Pentateuch in the same way, Paleo into Samaritan language. Okay, so just kind of give you a small little taste of the history of the Targums. Okay, so let me see here. And so we're going to go to Genesis 16. We're going to read those same verses, but this time in the Targum. Okay, so we're going to go to Genesis 16. Here we go. All right, so here we go. We'll even start at verse 13 here. It says, "And she gave thanks before Yahuah, whose word spake to her." Think about that. Who's the word of Yahuah in the New Testament? Hold on a second. I want to show this, so it makes it very clear who spoke to her. Let's go to Revelations 19 real quick in the New Testament. Okay, so here we go. And this is kind of a witnessing tool to show to some of our brothers and sisters that became non-New Testament and have, fallen from favor already, and to try to reason with them, and also reason with Jewish people, because Jewish people, Yemenite Jews, actually accept the Targums as authoritative in their synagogues. So there is an importance to using the Targums. See here. Here we go. Revelations 19:13. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called what? The Word of Yahuah. So every time in the Aramaic Targums you're going to see today, the Word of Yahuah spoke to her. Whose word spoke to her? Okay? It's talking about Yahusha. Okay? So Hagar is saying that angel that came to her was the son of Yahuah. We're going to see this common thread in the Targums here, and in the Tanakh in general. So let's move on here. I don't want to beat a dead horse. Okay. Verse 14 here. Wherefore she called the well at which the living and eternal one was revealed. And behold, it is situated between Rakam and Chalutza. The eternal one. What does Yahusha call himself in Revelations? The Alpha and Omega, the Aleph and Tav. I'm just saying, people. I'm just saying. If we just look at this at face value here, okay, and the idea that they could have reworked the Targums to blend with the New Testament, to me, is very, very unlikely. Okay, the Targums, according to legend, the Targums go all the way back to the time of the Babylonian captivity. I really doubt they were able to rework the Targums or re-engineer the Targums to have it blend with another language, okay, with the Greek New Testament, okay? Very unlikely. Okay, so Revelations 22:13, I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Yahuah and Yahusha both claim this in the book of Revelations. They both claim that, okay? So that's just something to think about too, okay? Both of them say that, okay? In one chapter, the Father says it. In another chapter, Yahusha says it. So just something to think about. So Genesis 16:14, like I just read in the Targum of Jonathan, says, the living and eternal one was revealed. I mean, there's more scriptures you can go in the Old Testament showing who the living and eternal one is. You got the book of Job that says, I know my Redeemer lives. And in the Septuagint, let me just show you guys that, because that's a pretty important one too. I think I should show the viewers and listeners, because that's in the Septuagint. It says, I know that he who is eternal is going to redeem me. Okay, so see, I know that my Redeemer lives. And this will be the last cross reference, so we can actually get through this study here. But to me, I think it's very important. Job 19:25. So we're going to go there. All right. Job 19:25. I'll be sharing that on the eSword here. I'll use the Brentons here. Septuagint. Job 19:25. Okay. For I know that he is eternal, meaning he lives forever, who is about to deliver me. And there's another verse, I can't think of it right now, in Revelations, where it talks about, I was dead, but now I live forever, talking about the Lamb. Yahusha was dead, he rose again, and now he lives eternally. So, I'm pretty sure, my sisters here probably know what I'm talking about. Revelations there. So again, I mean, you can go on and on and on and on with those cross references, with him living forever, the living eternal one. So let's see here. It says, let me see. I think that's it here. I think there are actually some verses missing from Genesis 16. That's a little weird in my opinion. Unless I'm wrong here. Let me go to, because I could have swore there's more than 16 verses in Genesis 16. They might be missing some there. There might be some omitted from there. Let me see here. Let me go to the Targum of Unkelos. There's 3 Targums, just so people that don't know. There's 3 different authors of 3 different Targums, but yet they blend with one another. With this, especially this topic, they blend with one another. They use different verbiage, but it's pretty much the same person. Sometimes it will say the angel of the covenant, and other times it'll say the angel of Yahuah or the word of Yahuah. So it's really talking about the same person. Okay, so it says here, let's see here. Let's go to, here we go. Yeah, the angel of Yahuah. And the angel of Yahuah said, "Behold, you have conceived and give birth." Okay. All right, so there is only 15 or 16 verses. My bad about that. All right, so let me just go back to the Jonathan one. So I got confused because I just saw it end at 16 verses. I didn't realize it was that short of a chapter. Okay. So the angel of Yahuah said to her, "Return to your mistress." The angel of Yahuah, okay. I'm just trying to see. I know one of the Targums says the angel of the covenant. And that's what I'm trying to get to here. Maybe if I go back to my document, it will help me out a little bit here. Sorry about that little rabbit trail there. I'm just trying to organize this stuff. Okay. All right. So the angel of the covenant. I should have really. Here we go. Okay. So Genesis 17:9-11. And we just did that. But also you have verse 13. Ooh, this is a good one. Almost forgot about that one. She prayed in the name of the word of Yahuah. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Oh, that's definitely a good one, showing who she saw. Let's see here. Yep, here we go. And she gave thanks before Yahuah, whose word spoke to her. That is the Targum of Jonathan. Let's see here. Wow, it continues on here. There's a little bit more here. It says, and thus said, whoops, stupid thing. And thus said, you are who lives and are eternal. So this is talking about the Son here. She's saying to the angel of Yahuah, you are he who lives and are eternal, who sees but are not seen. For she said, behold, here is revealed the esteem of the majesty of Yahuah, the magnificence. I don't like to use that word this translator uses. Okay, it's the correct word in English would have been majesty, esteem, magnificence of Yahuah after a vision. So basically, this is showing when the prophets would speak to Yahuah face to face. And they saw an image, they didn't see a corruptible image, but they saw a physical image of the Father, but yet they never saw the Father. How do you reconcile that? Yahusha, he is the visible image of the invisible Elohim. Boom. And right here, this proves it. She's talking about the angel of Yahuah. He lives and he's eternal, forever living. No beginning and ending, Alpha and Omega. But you are not seen, referring to the Father is not seen. For behold, there is revealed the esteem of the majesty of Yahuah, which would be Yahusha, the image of Yahuah. So she saw the image of Yahuah without actually seeing Yahuah. She saw Yahusha. So to me, I think that's an important one. That was Genesis 16:13 in the Targum of Jonathan. Again, so to me, this validates the New Testament even. This is a cool study just to kind of share with brothers and sisters that want to doubt the New Testament. So anyway, we're going to go on here. We're going to go to the Jerusalem Targum here. Genesis 18, verse 2. So Genesis 18, verse 2, we're going to go to a different Targum. We're going to go to the third Targum now. Okay, Genesis 18, verse 2. And I'm trying to go as quickly as possible because we're little bit behind today. Let's see here. All right, so wow, okay. And it's interesting, the Jerusalem Targum, it says, and Hagar gave thanks and prayed in the name of the word of Yahuwah. Okay, so the Targum says she prayed in the name of the word of Yahuwah. Interesting. And look at this. It says, who had been manifested to her, saying, oh, whoa. All right, people that don't believe in the oneness are not going to like this one. Who had been manifested to her, saying, Baruch be you, Aloha. She's calling the word of Yahuwah her Aloha, her Elohim. Whoa. The living one of all ages, who has looked upon my affliction, for she said, behold, you are manifested also unto me, even as you were manifested to Sarah, my mistress. Wow, that's beautiful. I'm sorry, you can't get away from the oneness here. I'm sorry, that's impossible. So anyway, the Jerusalem Targum is very fragmented. I think it's probably the oldest of the three Targums. That's probably why it's like that. So let me see here. Let me go here. So let's see here. So now we're up to Genesis 18:2 in the Jerusalem Targum. We're going to look at that. Okay, so Genesis 18:2. Just want to kind of flow here with this. All right, so we're moving along here. Like I said, we're not going to get to the prayer of Azariah until the end, since some people would consider that apocryphal. Here we go. Genesis 18:2. 3 angels. All right, yeah, here we go. Let's see here. 18. I think it is it 18:2 or 18:3. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is the part of Genesis 18:3. And 3 angels were sent to our father Abraham. Well, technically it is 3 angels because Yahusha appears as an angel sometimes. That's why he's called the Angel of Yahuah. He can take the form of a human, of a celestial messenger, but he's not literally an angel. So that's where people get confused, and the whole Jehovah Witness nonsense that Michael is Yahusha and all that, they get confused. So 3 angels, yes, appeared to him, because you had 2 regular angels and you had Yahusha appearing as the Malach of Yahuwah, the Angel of Yahuwah. So technically that's true. 3 angels were sent out to our father Abraham, and 3 were sent for 3 things, because it is not possible that on high that one of the high angels should be sent for more things than one. The first was sent to our father Abraham, that behold, Sarah would bear Isaac. The second was sent to deliver Lot from the midst of the overthrow. The third was sent to Sodom and Gomorrah, Zoibim and Zoboim. There was there a word of prophecy from before Yahuwah unto Abraham the righteous. Okay, remember how it says the spirit of Yahusha is the spirit of prophecy? Okay, so this is probably, most likely, this is where John gets that from. It's very likely they would have had the Targums back then, around the 1st century AD. So he's probably quoting from the Targums, to be honest, is why he says something like that in the New Testament. He says, the spirit of Yahusha is the spirit of prophecy, Okay, so, and the word of Yahuwah was revealed to him in the valley of vision. He sat in the door of the tabernacle, confirming himself from his circumcision in the fervor or strength of the day. So again, when it says here in the Targum 3 angels appeared to Abraham, technically yes, because Yahusha appeared as an angel. He wasn't literally an angel, but technically speaking, it was 3, if you look at the modern Torah, it would say 3 men. So you got the 2 regular angels, and then you have Yahusha, the Messiah, appearing as an angel. That's why he's known through the Tanakh as the Angel of Yahuwah. He takes the form of an angel sometimes. So that's, in the Tanakh, it was very common for him to do that before he became, he took on flesh and all that. He appeared as a heavenly messenger. So anyway, so that's showing that the word of Yahuwah was revealed to Abraham, which, by the way, is important for us that believe in the Brit Hadashah, the New Testament, because this reconciles in John, I think it's chapter 8, verse 56, where Yahusha himself says about Abraham, Abraham was glad to see my day. He rejoiced when he saw my day. Okay? I'm reading from the scriptures 1998 here. Your father Abraham was glad that he should see my day, my yom, and he saw it and did rejoice. Okay? Where is Yahusha getting that from? Okay? He's obviously getting it from a version of the Torah that would tell us that the word of Yahuwah was revealed to Abraham. Genesis 18 in the Targum says that. So again, so I'm going to move on here, and we're going to go, let's see, we did 16, 18. Shalom, Brother Dennis.
Shalom.
Yeah, we're just doing this study here. Who is the angel of Yahuwah? So I'm kind of moving along a little quickly here. Let me see here. Which one I have next here? I have still a couple from Genesis here. Genesis 22, 11, and 15. I think I'm going to read from the Genesis 22, 11. 22, 11. I think I'll be using the Septuagint here. Here we go. And the angel of Yahuwah called out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, behold, I am here. And he said, lay not your hand upon the child. Neither do anything to him, for I know that you fear Elohim, and for my sake you have not spared your beloved son. For my own sake. But wait a minute, Yahuwah is the one that told him to offer up Isaac, right? Interesting. Just saying. I'm just saying there's some interesting things here. So if that's just a regular angel, that seems kind of blasphemic to me. That's just a regular angel saying that for my sake, you have not withheld your son. And he's not saying when it's usually someone who's, just a regular angel and they don't say, thus says Yahuwah, it's actually them speaking for themselves. So this angel of Yahuwah is speaking of himself. You have not spared your beloved son for my sake. Just saying. It's very interesting, in my opinion. So now we're going to go to verse 15 here. And it says, and an angel of Yahuwah called Abraham the second time out of heaven, saying, I have sworn by myself. Now this is where he's actually given a message from Yahuwah. See how it says, or thus says. That's when it's like he's bearing a message, basically. I had sworn by myself, says Yahuwah, because you have done this thing on my account, so now it's on Yahuwah's account. It's kind of interesting. Has not spared your beloved son. So the point I'm trying to make here is if that angel is just a regular Malik, a regular messenger, he's committing blasphemy in the previous couple of verses there in verse 13. He's saying, on my account, but then he bears the message from the Father, thus says Yahuwah, for on my account. To me, that's kind of blasphemy if that angel is not Yahusha. I'm just saying. That's, so anyway, so we're going to kind of move on here. Let's see here. We did Genesis 22, 11, 15. We did Genesis 18, Genesis 16. Okay, we're going to stay in Genesis here, try to do this in order here. All right, Genesis 32, 28, and 31. Okay, so Genesis 32. And actually, I'm kind of interested. Before I do that, I kind of want to check the Targum to see if it elaborates. Because sometimes it does elaborate on chapters like that. Sometimes I guarantee you it will say the word of Yahuwah literally. Let me see here. Yep. Look at this here. Genesis 22:8. Abraham said to Isaac, the word of Yahuwah will prepare for me a lamb. And if not, then you are offering my son. And they went both of them together with a contrite heart. Oh, so he's actually talking to his servants that they would have to offer up Isaac. Wow, that's interesting. If a lamb's not prepared for him by the word of Yahuwah. Okay, so here we do. Okay. And verse 14 here of the Targum of Jerusalem says in Genesis 22, and Abraham prayed in the name of the word of Yahuwah, which again goes back to the New Testament, prayed to the Father in Yahusha's name, and said, you are Yahuwah who sees and are not seen. I pray for mercy before you, O Yahuwah. It is wholly manifested. Okay, so he goes from the word of Yahuwah to Yahuwah within like one thought. This is so cool. And Abraham prayed in the name of the word of Yahuwah. You are Yahuwah. Oh boy, now we're getting controversial here. Who sees and are not seen. I pray for you, O Yahuwah. It is wholly manifest and before you that in my heart there was no dividing in the time that you did command me to offer Isaac my son and to make him dust and ashes before you. But that forthwith I arose in the morning and performed your word. With joy I have fulfilled your word. And now I pray for mercies before you, Yahuwah, that when the children of Isaac offer in the hour of need and the binding of Isaac their father, you may. This is all one verse here. Remember on their behalf and remit and forgive their sins, deliver them out of all the need. And the generations who are arise after him may say that in the mounds of the house of the set apart place of Yahuwah did Abraham offer Isaac his son, and in this mountain, in the house of the set apart place, was revealed unto him the esteem of the magnificence of Yahuwah. So again, that, and you'll see that sometimes too. The New Testament, like I said before, will say he is the image of the invisible Elohim. So when it talks about his majesty, his esteem, when we have seen his esteem, is talking about Yahusha. So again, I mean, there's clues everywhere. If there's any Jewish people watching here, they might want to take some notes here. This is clearly, in my opinion, validating the New Testament, the Targums, clearly. So let's see here. I didn't even get to Genesis 32 yet. Let's go to 32, 28 to 31. Let's skip ahead here. Okay, so 32, 28 to 31. Okay. Oh, that's right. It's omitted out of this one Targum. Let me go to the Jonathan one. Should have it. Yeah, unfortunately, that Jerusalem one, it has a lot of great stuff in it, but it's so old that it's been fragmented like crazy. It was, according to legend, these were found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Targums. Okay, so let's go to Genesis 32. But what little they have preserved in these Targums is very important, in my opinion. So, all right, so here we go. Genesis 32:28. So Jacob's now talking to the actual angel that he wrestled with. Remember, says, I have wrestled with Elohim. Okay, so he's saying, then he said, your name shall no more be called Jacob, but Yashrael, because you are magnified with the angels of Yahuwah, and with the mighty you have prevailed among them. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, and Jacob asked and said, show me your name. And he said, why do you ask for my name? And he Baruch Jacob there. And Jacob called on the name of the place Paniel, for he said, I have seen the angels of Yahuwah face to face, and my being is saved. So again, it's plural here. I'm pretty sure if you go to the Unkalos one, it's probably going to be singular. So again, and in the Septuagint and in the Masoretic text, it's singular. So again, you see the angel of Yahuwah being referenced. Yeah, right here. So the Targum of Onkelos here says, Jacob called the name of the place Paniel, because I have seen the angel of Yahuah face to face, my being has been saved. Okay, remember, no one has seen the Father face to face, but yet we see in the Tanakh, Masha was with him face to face like a friend. So how do we reconcile it? He saw Yahusha. To me, that's an easy reconciliation there. So anyway, so now we're moving on to the last cross-reference here I have is Genesis 48, 15 to 16. And let's see here. Genesis 48. I think I'll stick with the Onkelos one. We'll probably look at all three versions of the Targums just to get some added witnesses here. All right, so Genesis 48, 15 to 16. Okay. All right, here we go. Targum Onkelos, and let's see here. Genesis 48, 15 to 16, Targum Onkelos. And he Baruch Yosef and said, Yahuwah, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did serve, Yahuwah, who fed me from my coming unto this day. Okay, so the person he's talking about here is the Father, but watch how it switches literally. And remember too, there's no commas or semicolons in the original scroll, so take that into consideration. He's saying the person that has fed him and the one that his fathers have served to this day is Yahuwah. Then it says, the angel who redeemed me from all evil, Barak the youths, and let my name be called upon them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, and the fish of the sea, may they multiply among the children of men upon the earth. That's kind of interesting to me. That seems like he's saying that Yahuwah is the angel that has redeemed him. Kind of interesting. It's interesting to me. So anyway, we're going to move on here. That was Genesis 48, 15 to 16. Now we're going to get into a little bit of other books, and I'm going to show you. Let's see here. Okay, see here. Yeah, Exodus 23, 20 to 21, and my brother Dennis, this is one of his favorite ones to show that the angel of Yahuwah is Yahusha. Okay, so here we go. We got Exodus 23, 20 to 21. I'll use the Bretton's Septuagint. Okay, so it says, and behold, I send my angel before your face that he may keep you in the way, that he may bring you into the land which I have prepared for you. Okay, my angel before your face. Okay, take heed to yourself and hearken to him and disobey him not, for he will not give way to you, for my name is on him. Now, keep in mind, remember what John chapter 5, verse 43 says, what Yahusha says in John 5:43. I've come in my Father's name. So, okay. All right, so here we go. Now we're going to go to John 5:43 and then Proverbs 30, verse 4. All right, John 5:43. Let's see here. Here we go. I'll stay with. I have come in my Father's name, and you do not receive me. If another comes in his own name, him you will receive. Referring to the anti-Messiah. You have not received me, but you'll receive another that comes in his own name. It's kind of interesting. A couple of years ago, Pope Francis said, in a public hearing, I think it was like one of the stupid Easter days or whatever, a couple of years ago, he said, I come in my own name in the authority of the Roman Catholic Church. Just think about that. So Yahusha could have been giving us a prophecy that there's going to be another coming in his own name. And I think there's been another that has came in his own name that people actually think is the real Messiah, that they're being deceived into accepting, instead of Yahusha, the true Messiah of the New Testament, the true Messiah that died for our sins. So just something to ponder about. See here, Proverbs chapter 30, verse 4. Okay, see here, it says, who has ascended up into heaven or descended? Think about it, The Word became flesh, descended, and then his ascension after his resurrection. Or descended, who has gathered the wind in his fist? Who has bound the waters in the garment? Who has established all the ends of the earth? What is his name? And what is his son's name? Now, the truly interesting thing to me is that this is what the Son did, but yet it's saying, what is his name? It's saying that the Father did this, ascended and descended. To me, that's extremely interesting. And what is his Son's name, if you can tell? And, this is a question really mainly posed, I would say, to, the Christian audience, or, people that have been brought up to think it doesn't matter what his original name is, doesn't matter what the Son's original name is and the Father's original name. We can call him Jehovah, Jesus, whatever, it doesn't matter. You might want to read Proverbs 34. Just saying. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go now to, I think we're going to go to Judges. We got a couple from the book of Judges here. Judges chapter 6, verse 22. Okay. And again, this is the angel of Yahuah appearing to Gideon in the book of Judges. So here we go. And it says here, and Gideon saw that he was an angel of Yahuah, and Gideon said, Yahuah my Elohim. Whoa, we're getting really controversial today. For I have seen the angel of Yahuah face to face. So technically, I mean, I could see how it's possible to interpret it two different ways, but I interpret it literally. He's calling that Malik Yahuah my Elohim. So this is something that I've been studying about on my own, and I think it's kind of interesting how there's a connection between the angel of Yahuah and Yahuah. So anyway, so let's see here. Where are we going next? We're going to go to, is there any more from Judges? Yeah, I think we got a couple more. Chapter 2, verses 1 to 4. Chapter 2, 1 to 4. Okay. Judges chapter 2, 1 to 4. Here we go. And an angel of Yahuah went up from Gilgal to the place of weeping, and to Bethel, and to the house of Yashrael, and said to them, thus says Yahuah, I brought you out of the land of Egypt. I brought you into the land which I swore to your fathers, and said, I will never break my covenant that I made with you. So again, this angel of Yahuah is acting as a physical representative of Yahuah. Now, this is more of a loophole that, it's not really saying the angel of Yahuah is Yahusha or Yahuah, but again, it's a physical representative, speaking on the Father's behalf. And it seems to be the same angel that appeared to Hagar and, appeared to Jacob. So anyway. Okay, and let me see here. I think I was supposed to actually read all the way down to verse 4. I forgot to read all the way down here. It says, and you shall make no covenant with them that you dwell in this land, neither shall you worship their mighty ones, but you shall destroy their graven images, but you shall pull down their altars, but you hearken not to my voice, for you did these things. And I said, I will not drive them out before you, but they shall be for a distress to you, and their mighty ones shall be to you for an offense. And it came to pass, when the angel of Yahuah spoke these words to all the children of Yashrael, that the people lifted up their voice and wept. Yeah, so again, the angel of Yahuah. So let's see here. We did that. All right, the last one from Judges, it seems I have here, is chapter 13, verse 18. That seems to be it there. Then we'll move on. Okay, so we got chapter 13, verse 18 here. And the angel of Yahuwah said to him, "Why do you thus ask after my name?" Again, this shows you it's the same guy that wrestled with Jacob. Why do you ask after my name? Whereas it is wonderful. Okay. So again, like he's posing the same question to Gideon that he posed to Yaakov. Same exact question. Why do you ask after my name? Okay. Here we go. And I think we're going to go to the book of Numbers since we got Numbers and Exodus still in the Torah here. So we're going to look at Numbers 22, Numbers 22:36. Okay, Numbers 22:36. We're going to go into that. And when Balak heard that Balaam was come, he went out to meet him to a city of Moab, which is on the borders of Arnon, which is on the extreme part of the borders. Okay, so why did I choose that one? That's kind of weird. Yeah. Oh, I know why, because it's different in the Targum. Duh. That's why. Should have thought about that. Yeah, so it seems like nothing is referencing Yahusha or the angel of Yahuwah there, but if you go to Numbers 22:16 in the Targums, it's a little different. Numbers 22:16. Okay. Let's see here. Or 22:26, I meant. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, wow, this is something for the Masoretic and Septuagint to be missing here. Here we go. And the angel of Yahuwah passed on and stood in a narrow place where there was no way to turn to the right or to the left. Yep, enter in the narrow gate, you know. And the donkey discerned the angel of Yahuwah and fell down under Balaam, and Balaam's wrath was provoked, and he smote the donkey with his staff. Yeah, the donkey is doing obeisance to the angel of Yahuwah. That's basically what's going on there. And then you also have verse 35 I want to go into. So it seems like only the Targum is showing this, or maybe I read the wrong verse in the Septuagint. I would have to go back to that to see why that's the case. But Numbers 22:35 says, "But the angel of Yahuwah said to Balaam, Go with the men, only the word that I shall speak with you, that you shall say. And Balaam went with the princes of Balak." Very interesting. So again, this angel of Yahuwah speaking with authority to Balak. Seems a little bit higher authority than a regular angel. I don't know. I might be reading too much into it, but that seems a kind of high of authority to be speaking that way. All right, so let's go to Exodus chapter 3, verse 2. I think most of us are familiar with this verse here, but I think there's a connection with the New Testament that we have not seen before with Exodus chapter 3, verse 2. It says, "And an angel of Yahuwah appeared to him in the flaming fire out of the bush, and he sees that bush burn with fire, but the bush was not consumed." And then if you go down 2 verses here, okay, unless I've missed something in a second person coming to the bush, so check this out. It says, he's the same person that's talking to him says, "And when Yahuwah saw that he drew near, Yahuwah called him out of the bush, saying, Masha, Masha. And he said, What is it?" To me, it's saying that the angel of Yahuwah in verse 2 is the same person that's in verse 4. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't see anywhere in that chapter that there would be a second person in the bush. I don't know. So anyway, and then you got Acts chapter 7, verse 30, which is a cross-reference to Exodus 3, verse 2. Okay, it says, And when 40 years were expired, talking about the 40 years in the wilderness, there appeared to him in the wilderness of Sinai. Okay, maybe it's actually prior to the 40 years of the wilderness. Okay, my timing might be messed up on that. Okay, so when 40 years were expired, there appeared to him in the wilderness of Mount Sinai an angel of Yahuah in a flame of fire in a bush. Yeah, the 40 years here it's talking about is not the 40 years in the wilderness. It's talking about the last 40 years of their the 430 years. So that's what it's probably talking about. The last 40 years was over and their allotted time to be in Egypt was up. That this angel of Yahuah appeared to Moshe in a flame of fire. So that's the book of Acts, chapter 7, verse 30. See here, I think we're done with the Torah now. So now we're going to get into the book of Psalms, Zechariah, and Matthew. So we're going to go to Psalms 34, verse 7. To me, this is like a really, really good verse to show people that this is not just a regular angel. This is definitely Yahusha here. Psalms 34, verse 7, it says, the angel of Yahuah will round about them or surround them that fear him, and will deliver them, will save them. So he's a savior to those that fear him. Sound familiar? So again, that's another proof verse in our canon here that you can use. Okay, so now we've gone up to Zechariah. We're going to read Zechariah chapter 3, verses 1, 5, and 6. Okay, let's see. Zechariah chapter 3, verses 1 says here, and Yahuah showed me Yahusha the high priest. This is a prophetic foreshadowing to the son of Yahuah taking on flesh. Okay, Yahusha the high priest standing before the angel of Yahuah. Yeah, very prophetic. So he's looking at the one who would take on flesh and have the same name as him. Very interesting. And the devil stood on his right hand to resist him. Now, this is what really got me crazy when I saw this. Now, like I said, people claim that Brenton maybe made it plural and had a bias. I don't know. All I'm saying, if you just look at the English of the Septuagint at face value, you got two Yahuahs here, okay? And one of them is the angel of Yahuah, and one is Yahuah the Father. If you just read it at face value. And the Yahuim, or Yahuahs, said to the devil, and then it goes back to singular, kind of like, Genesis 1:27, Yahuah rebuke you, O devil. Even Yahuah that has chosen Jerusalem rebuke you. Behold, is not this as a brand plucked from the fire? And then it says in verse 5, and Yahuah answered and spoke to those who stood before him, saying, take away the filthy raiment from him. And he said to him, behold, I have taken away your lawlessnesses, and clothe ye him with a long robe. To me, this is clear foreshadowing what Yahusha would do for us, So Zechariah 3, 1, 2, and 5 there. And now we're going to go into another place in Zechariah here, Zechariah chapter 12, verse 8 in the Septuagint. So I think by now the viewers and listeners should be getting a pretty decent pattern here in Scripture with multiple witnesses of this doctrine. Okay. So Zechariah 12:8, and it says, it shall come to pass that in that day that Yahuah shall defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and the weak among them in that day shall be as David, and the house of David as the house of Elohim, as the angel of Yahuah before them. So you have Yahuah and the angel of Yahuah being mentioned here simultaneously in this verse. And it's talking about that the angel of Yahuah would be before them defending them. But the first part of the verse says Yahuah is defending them. To me, that's very interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Then you got Matthew chapter 1, verse 20 and verse 24. Okay, we're almost up to the prayer of Azariah, guys. Just stay patient. We'll get there. We'll get there. Matthew 1, chapter 1, verse 20. Okay. But while he thought about this, while he thought about these things, behold, the angel of Yahuwah appeared to him in a dream, saying, Joseph, thou son of David, fear not, take unto me Miriam your wife, for that which is conceived in her is of the set apart spirit. Boom. Okay. And I know some people, any non-New Testament people might be thinking, oh, the virgin birth, that's created by the Catholic Church. No, it's not. It's not. Okay. Isaiah 7:14. This is really not on topic, but just for any non-New Testament people looking. Therefore, Yahuwah himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive in the womb. Septuagint goes all the way back to 285 BC, before there ever was a Roman Catholic Church. Way before. You're talking about a good 1,000 years before the Roman Catholic Church. So I'm just saying. And if you want to look into the original Greek of it, it is virgin. It's not maiden. Okay. Parthenos, a virgin. A marriageable maiden. So the type of maiden is talking about, it's not just a regular young woman. It's a young woman that has not been known by a man. Okay. No man has gone into her would be that Greek word. Okay. Anyway, trying to move on here. Okay, so we're going to go back to Matthew 1, chapter 1, verse 24. Okay. Let's see, we got someone else that's joined us. Shalom, Isaiah. All right. Let's see here. Matthew chapter 21. Matthew chapter 1, verse 24. Then Yosef, being raised from sleep, did as the angel of Yahuwah had bidden him, and took unto him his wife. What's interesting to me is that Yahusha, in the form of an angel, appeared to his future stepdad, in a way. So it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting when you come to the realization who this angel of Yahuwah is. So, okay. Acts 5:19 and chapter 12, verses 7 and 23. So we're first going to go to Acts 5:19. Okay, Acts 5:19. Okay, 5:19. But the angel of Yahuwah by night opened the prison doors and brought them forth and said, go stand and speak in the temple to all the people, all the words of this life. Basically, Yahusha, again, after his ascension and resurrection, around the times of Paul and the apostles, he appeared as the angel of Yahuwah again, just like he does all over the Old Testament, and brought a message to, it's either Paul or Peter he's talking to. I really forget which in Acts chapter 5. I would have to read the whole chapter to figure it out. But either way, he's telling one of the apostles to go and speak in the temple to the people all the words of the Basora, this life, the message of salvation. Okay. Then you have chapter 12, verse 7 and verse 23. Acts chapter 12, verse 7. So it says, and behold, the angel of Yahuwah came up upon him, and a light shined in the prison, and he smote Kapha on the side and raised him up, saying, arise quickly. And his chains fell off from his hands. Interesting. So Kapha, commonly his name is mistranslated in your English Bibles as the Apostle Peter. So he was freed from his chains. Sound familiar? The book of Isaiah, free the captive. Just saying. All right, so here we go. Now we're getting to the end of this here, and we are going to be going to Malachi chapter 3, verse 1. And the Septuagint says the angel of the covenant, which actually, funny enough, you can find that phrase in the Torah of the Targums. Okay, Malachi chapter 3, verse 1 says, "Behold, I send forth my messenger." And actually, I think this should be angel here, because you can get really confused, because unfortunately the same Greek word is used for a human messenger and for a heavenly messenger. So I think in this context it should be angel, because you'll see later on in this verse they translated it as angel, the same word. So, "Behold, I send forth my angel, and he shall survey the way before me." Hello, Exodus 23, anyone? "And Yahuah whom you seek shall suddenly come into his temple, even the angel of the covenant whom you take pleasure in. Behold, he is coming, says Yahuwah Almighty." So this is foreshadowing the day of Yahuwah, the angel of the covenant returning, Yahuwah returning into his temple. Okay, there is going to be a physical temple in the millennium. Okay. All right, so now we're going to go to Daniel chapter 3 and the prayer of Azariah. Oh, first let me actually go here. I want to find the verse really quick in the Targum, the angel of the covenant. I think it's probably the Jerusalem Targum, I'm thinking. Most likely it's, and I think it was either Genesis 16 or 18, where Hagar calls the angel of the covenant. That appeared to her, that we earlier saw, is, let's see here, the name of the word of Yahuwah. Let's see here. Now may Yahuwah. Okay, all right. Maybe it's in chapter 17. All right. Okay, so that's the Jerusalem Targum. It's not there. Let me go to the Targum of Jonathan. I might have it there. Let's see here. So here we go. All right, let's see here. We got Genesis 18 here. Let's go to 17. Let's see here. All right. Okay, here. Let's see here. All right, here we go. All right. All right. Where is it? My word. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Usually I have it here. Let's see. Genesis 16:13. I think the biggest problem is that some of it's fragmented really badly in one of them, so that's why it takes me extra long to find it. What I really need to start doing is preparing these studies a little bit better. Usually I do, but don't worry, we're almost done anyway. All right, here we go. Thank you. Praise you. All right. Genesis 16:14 to connect with Malachi 3:1 of the Septuagint. Genesis 16:14 of the Targum of Onkelos. "Therefore she called the name of the well at which the angel of the covenant, behold, is between Rakam and Hagral." Okay. So again, so that goes to there, and see here. And I think that's it. Yep. All right, so now we're going to be going to the end of this, and we're going to be going to, let's see here, we're going to be going up to Daniel with the prayer of Azariah. So we're going to go to Daniel 3, and like I said before, when we first started this study about an hour or so ago, this used to be canon. It was later taken out. Okay, you see how 13 and 14 are in blue here in the Septuagint? This is the Bell and the Dragon and Shoshana. Okay, used to be part of the canon of the book of Daniel in the Brenton Septuagint. Also in the King James 1611 and in certain editions of the Geneva Bible, so on and so forth. All right, so we're going to go to Daniel chapter 3, and I believe it starts at verse 23 is when the prayer of Azariah starts. Okay. Then Azariah stood up, prayed on this manner, opened his mouth. This is when the three of them are, in the fiery furnace, and Nebuchadnezzar is burning them because they wouldn't bow down to his golden image. Okay. In the midst of the fire, and said, Baruch are you, O Yahuwah Elohim of our fathers. Your name is worthy to be praised, esteemed forever. For you are righteous in all things that you have done to us. Yea, true are all your works. Your ways are right in all your right rulings, truth in all the things that you have brought upon us, upon the set-apart city of our fathers, even Jerusalem, you have executed true right ruling. For according to truth and right ruling did you bring all these things upon us because of our sins, for we have sinned and committed lawlessness. Departing from you, in all things have we trespassed, and not obeying your commandments, nor kept them, neither done as you have commanded us, that it might go well with us. Wherefore all that you have brought upon us, and everything that you have done to us, and you have done in true right ruling. And you did deliver us into the hands of lawless enemies, most hateful forsakers of Elohim, to an unrighteous king, and the most wicked in all the world. And now we cannot open our mouths. We are become a shame and a reproach to your servants and to them that worship you. Yet deliver us not up woefully for your name's sake, neither disannul thou your covenant, and cause not your mercy to depart from us for your beloved Abraham's sake, for your servant Isaac's sake, and for your set apart Yashar's sake, to whom you have spoken and promised, as you would multiply their seed as the stars of heaven, and as the sand that lies upon the seashore. For you, O Yahuwah, are become less than any nation, or for we, O Yahuwah, so not Yahuwah, for Yasharel, and be kept under this Yam all the world because of our sins. Neither is there at this time prince or prophet or leader or burnt offering or sacrifice or oblation or incense or place to sacrifice before you to find mercy. Nevertheless, in a contrite heart and in a humble spirit, let us be accepted, like as in burnt offerings of rams. Okay, all right, let's get to the part I'm actually looking for here. So as you can see here, this is a prayer, a great prayer they're doing to Yahuwah here. So let me see here. I know it's at some place here. Let's see, here we go. There we go. It says, for streamed forth above the furnace 49 cubits, and it passed through and burned those Chaldeans. So the Chaldeans are doubling the furnace to burn them, and yet they're being burned by the Chaldeans themselves are being burned by the fire, not Azariah and the other two Hebrew boys that are in there. It says, but the angel of Yahuwah came down into the oven together with Azariah and his fellows, and smote the flame of fire out of the oven, and made the midst of the furnace as it had been a moistening, whistling wind, so that the fire touched them not at all, neither hurt nor touched them. Wow. Okay. So now, let's see here. Let me just do something real quick so I can save that place for later. All right. So I'll just do something real quick. Okay. Just so I know what it says there. All right. There we go. All right. And now, let's see here. Now we're going to go to verse 24 to 25 of this same chapter here, where it shows you the connection here with that angel of Yahuwah. Verse 24 says, and Nebuchadnezzar heard them singing praises, and he wondered and arose up in haste and said to his nobles, did we not cast 3 men bound in the midst of the fire? And they said to the king, yes, O king. Verse 25, and the king said, but I see 4 men loosed and walking in the midst of fire. There has no harm happened to them. And the appearance of the 4th is like the son of Aloah. Right there. So the prayer of Azariah, which was original part of Daniel chapter 3, tells you the angel of Yahuwah is the son of Yahuwah. Literally. So anyway, thank you for joining us today. If any of our brothers and sisters have anything to share before we go off. It looks like we're going to have to do that other study we wanted to do today at another time. So thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of your Shabbat, everyone. Shalom.
Bye, Doug. Thank you.
You're welcome.